The sign was blank. Not faded, not broken, just blank, like it had never had a name at all. I stood there in the middle of the road, staring at it, while smoke curled up from stone chimneys 50 feet behind it. A church bell rang 6 o'clock somewhere close by. My phone said I was in the middle of nowhere. No roads marked, no towns, just a big green empty space where I was standing. I checked it 3 times. There was nothing there, not even a dot. But I wasn't looking at nothing. I was looking at a village. Real smoke. Real people moving between the houses. My name's Julian Ford. I take pictures for a living. Old towns, back roads, places people drive past without looking twice. That's why I was out on that broken hill road in the first place, hours from anywhere with a name. My car had died 10 minutes earlier. No warning, just a shudder, then silence. I told myself I'd walk to the village, ask to use a phone, and be back on the road by dark. I should have turned around right there at that sign. I didn't. And that's the last time I made a choice that was really mine. The first person I saw was an old woman sweeping her front step. She looked up at me like she'd been expecting me all day. "You're late," she said. I laughed, a little nervous. Late for what? She didn't answer. She just smiled and kept sweeping. I walked further in, maybe 20 houses, one church, a well in the center square, no cars anywhere. No power lines, no sign of a road leading out the other side. A man came out of the church, wiping flour off his hands. He said his name was Marcus. Warm smile, firm handshake, the kind of guy you'd trust with directions. "You made good time," he said. "Weather's been kind to you." "I didn't mean to come here," I told him. "My car died back on the road." Marcus tilted his head, like that was a strange thing for me to say. "Cars don't break down here," he said. "Not once they've arrived." Not once they've arrived. Like the car had made a choice of its own. I asked him the name of the village. He smiled wider. "You'll remember it when you need to." "What does that mean?" He didn't answer that either. He just nodded toward the church behind him. "The wall in there remembers everything," he said, "including you." I didn't ask what he meant by that. I wish I had. That night, at dinner, the whole village showed up. Long tables, candles, laughing, and a young woman sitting across from me who knew my name before I'd said it. "You look tired, Julian," she said. I froze. "I didn't tell you my name." She laughed like I'd made a joke. "Of course you did." "Last time." "Last time?" She just smiled and passed me the bread. The bread was warm. The fire was warm. Her hand brushed mine, passing the basket, and that was warm too. Then I looked down at the bread on my plate. It had a bite already missing from it. I hadn't touched it yet. I told myself it was nothing, a mix-up with the plates. People do strange things in strange places. Then an old man at the end of the table raised his glass. "To Julian," he said. "Third visit, and still asking the same questions." Third visit. I had never been to this village before in my life, but someone in that room clearly thought I had. In the morning, I went looking for Marcus. Instead, I found the church door standing open, and I went in. The walls were covered in names, carved into the stone. Hundreds of them, going back further than I could read in the low light. Some had dates, some didn't. A few had a single deep line cut straight through them. I wasn't even looking for it. But near the bottom, fresh in the stone, like someone had carved it that morning, Ford. Just the last name, no first name, no date. And under it, one thin scratch. Not a full line through it, like some of the others, just a scratch, like someone had started to cross it out and stopped. Marcus's voice came from behind me, calm as ever. "Every visitor gets a name on the wall," he said. "It's tradition." I pointed at the scratch mark under Ford. "What's that?" He looked at it for a long moment before he answered. "That means you almost left. Last time." "Almost?" He didn't answer that part. He just looked at the older names, the ones with no dates at all, like he was counting them. "What happens?" I asked. "To the ones who actually make it out?" Marcus turned to me, and for the first time, his smile didn't quite reach his eyes. I don't know, he said. None of them ever came back to tell us. I decided I was leaving. Car or no car, map or no map. I was walking out the way I came in. Clara found me in the doorway. She didn't try to stop me. She just stood there, arms crossed, watching. Last time, she said, you brought a camera. You took pictures of the church. You said it looked wrong in the photos, like it was leaning towards something that wasn't there. I've never held a camera in this village. You will, she said. You already have, twice. I pushed past her into the square and started walking toward the road, the same road my car had died on the day before. The road wasn't there anymore. Where it used to be, there was just more village, more houses, more smoke, like the whole place had quietly grown overnight, filling in the space behind me while I slept. I turned in a slow circle. Every direction, village. No hills, no trees I recognized. Behind me, the old woman from the front step was standing in the middle of the square. She wasn't sweeping now. She was just standing there, staring straight at me. And she was smiling. I went back to my room, hands shaking, and that's when I saw it sitting on the bed. A camera, old, worn at the edges. Not mine, except the strap had my initials burned into the leather. JF, my handwriting, my burn marks. I opened the back. There was film inside, half used. Next to it, a notebook. My notebook, the same brand I always buy, the same cracked spine. I flipped it open. The handwriting was mine, but I'd never written a word of it. Day 1. They gave me the room above the bakery again. Clara says I forget every time. I don't believe her. I'm writing this down so next time I'll believe myself. My hands went cold. I grabbed my wrist to steady myself, and someone else's hand closed around it first. The old man from the bench. He'd come in without a sound. His grip was tight enough to leave white marks on my skin. You shouldn't read your own words, he said quietly. It only makes the remembering worse. Let go of me. He didn't. Not right away. He just looked at the notebook in my other hand, and something in his pale eyes looked almost sorry. You wrote something else too, he said. On the last page. You should look, before you decide to run again. I found the last page after he finally let go. 3 words, in my own handwriting, underlined twice. Don't trust Clara. I found her by the well the next morning, and I asked her straight out, how many times had I really been here? She looked at me for a long time before she answered. This is your 3rd time arriving, she said, but it's your 1st time remembering. Why now? Why do I remember now? Because the village only lets you remember, she said quietly, right before it decides to keep you for good. My notebook told me not to trust you. Something moved behind her eyes, not surprise. Guilt. I carved your name on that wall, she said, all 3 times. I'm the one who does it. I've done it for longer than you'd believe. Why? Because every time you leave, for a little while, I stay. And I remember every single visit, even the ones you forget. Her voice cracked. I was hoping this time you'd remember enough to take me with you. Behind her, the church bell started ringing. Not 6 o'clock, the middle of the day. Every villager stopped at once. All of them turned toward me. Even the old man, even the old woman with her broom, even Marcus, in the bakery doorway, no longer smiling. Clara grabbed my hand. Her voice shook. Julian, whatever you do, don't let them finish ringing that bell. I didn't understand. I didn't move fast enough. The bell rang a second time. The ground under the village didn't crack. It didn't crumble. It just began to sink, slowly, evenly, like the whole village was resting on something that had finally decided to let go. I looked down at the cobblestones under my boots. They weren't sinking into dirt. They were sinking into nothing. A darkness that wasn't dark. It was empty, the way a held breath is empty right before you scream. Clara pulled me toward the church, shouting something I couldn't hear over the bell. We didn't make it. The ground opened and I fell. I didn't hit the bottom. I landed in another square, another well, another church, older than the first one, its stones black with age, its roof half caved in. Smoke came from the chimneys anyway. An old woman was sweeping the front step of a house that looked exactly like the one I'd first seen, except the wood was rotted through, and she didn't look up at all this time. She already knew I was there. I ran for the church doors and shoved them open. The wall of names went back further than the first one, hundreds more, thousands. And near the bottom, in stone worn smooth by 100 years of hands touching it, Ford. No scratch mark this time. Just my name, carved deep, carved old, carved long, before I was ever born. I still don't know how many villages there are, stacked underneath each other like that. I don't know if Clara's still up there, in the first one, waiting for a version of me who finally remembers in time. What I do know is this: if your GPS ever shows you empty green space where a village should be, and you see smoke rising from chimneys that aren't marked on any map anywhere in the world, turn around. Don't read the sign, because somewhere below that village, on a wall older than the road that brought you there, your name is already waiting to be found.